We talk about critical race theory, but just think of it kind of as critical theory, which is that whatever the issue is, race, gender, sexual identity, the traditional Marxist talks about class, now it's all developed under this rubric of critical theory, and the rule of law must be cast aside. Judicial Watch is firing on all cylinders this week. We filed a lawsuit in California that's now at trial. We have 4 lawyers in Los Angeles before the Superior Court there. There's a bench trial, so the trial's before a judge, not a jury, in our taxpayer challenge to California's gender quota mandate for corporations. They passed this law that they knew was unconstitutional under the California state constitution that required corporations, more or less, to have a certain number of women on the boards of directors. So think about that. They're requiring sex discrimination. So you have these radical leftists running California trying to upend and blow up decades of anti-discrimination law as they pursue their critical theory. So, you know, we talk about critical race theory, but just think of it kind of as critical theory, which is that whatever the issue is, race, gender, sexual identity, the traditional Marxist talks about class, now it's all developed under this rubric of critical theory, and the rule of law must be cast aside. Protections to you as citizens who should be treated according to merit as opposed to based on race or sex should be cast aside. They want to go back to where you could discriminate on the basis of race and sex. So taxpayers have a right in California to challenge taxpayer funds that are being spent on illegal laws like this. And so we filed this lawsuit. We went through I don't remember when did we file it. I think we filed it in 2019. So it's been going on for some time. And the case is now before a judge. So our lawyers are out there versus the California lawyers trying to convince a judge to rule in our favor and rule that this California gender quota mandate is unconstitutional and a violation of California as a constitution, and that our taxpayer clients should be vindicated and it should be ended. We want to end it through this taxpayer lawsuit. This is the brief we prepared for the trial. Even time spent by public officials carrying out an unlawful act can be enjoined. Applications of the law as written will result in a state official expending taxpayer funds on an unlawful law unless the expenditures are enjoined. California's Equal Protection Clause is clear and well settled. When the challenged statutory scheme employs express gender classifications, a plaintiff meets his or her burden of establishing unconstitutionality by pointing that out. It's pretty simple. It's illegal, we're pointing it out, we should win. It's undeniable that SB 826 expressly employs a gender-based classification. The law requires a predetermined number of board seats be set aside exclusively for women, or females as defined. Accordingly, plaintiffs will have satisfied the fourth and final element of their constitutional claim based on the statute itself. The burden of justifying SB 826's express gender classification shifts to the defendant, meaning it's up to them to prove that what they're doing is legal. And I mean them being, it's up to the California state officials who are being represented by taxpayer-funded lawyers in court right now. Frankly, a new study, now this is really interesting. Now their new argument is, it seems to me ever changing, is that this actually helps California businesses, as if that justifies racial discrimination. That's what they're thinking. They're saying you're helped by being forced to engage in sex discrimination. And in fact, a recent study found that there was a robust and significantly negative stock reaction to California's gender quota mandate. So it's bunk. What they're arguing is bunk. In our case, I think, as I was talking to our team this morning, our case is, we're presented, it took, I think, only a day and a half to present our case. The government wants, I think, 2 weeks or more to present their case. So let's pray for success. It shows you that Judicial Watch is on the cutting edge of all of these issues. And we could, this is a very closely watched case. We have the media there. They've been following this. The business community had been following this. Businesses generally opposed this, but they were afraid to take the state of California on. So it's up to Judicial Watch and our brave taxpayer clients who are pursuing this. Just regular citizens we're representing. But they're taxpayers, and they're just like you. They don't want the government to engage in illegal conduct. They don't want the government to require sex discrimination. They recognize it as illegal, and they object to their tax dollars being used to pursue this illegal activity by the government. Frankly, the Supreme Court, Jerry Brown, when he signed this law, the former governor of California, he raised questions about whether it was legal or not. And I can tell you, don't believe that it's just going to be in California. You had NASDAQ, the stock market exchange, have a soft quota requirement for boards of directors. They say, we want to know, we want you to do all your racial, gender, and sexual identity bean counting and report to us how many of each you have on the board and tell us why you don't have enough. So it's not, quote, going to be a requirement, but look, you know what corporations are going to do in the face of that sort of request. They're going to engage in unlawful discrimination. So we are taking on the left's assault on the rule of law, assault on anti-discrimination laws, and it kind of highlights how the extremism at the left, exposes their true motivations. They don't believe in protecting people from discrimination on the basis of sex. They don't believe in protecting people from discrimination on the basis of race or any other of the classifications they think we're supposed to be given special treatment to. In fact, they don't believe that. They think all those protections against discrimination for whoever they say needs to be protected, they don't actually believe that because they want quotas, which means necessarily that people will be discriminated on the basis of the classifications the law currently supports or protects. So I don't know how the trial is going to go. It's going to be up to the judge in the end. But I'm proud as heck that Judicial Watch is in trial. And the reason we're in trial, as I said before, is because of the support of people like you. We have hundreds of thousands of Americans who support our work, and it allows us to go to court and take on the entire state of California, the government of California, who has unlimited resources, but because of you and other supporters, we're able to have the resources to take them on. So it's just great, absolutely great.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.